Hello, my preschool friends. Welcome back to my home. Today, who's here? Handsome Dave. Handsome Dave is here. And guess what? He just asked me for the funniest thing. He asked me if he could have a pet of his own. What do you think about that? Dave, do you think you'd be able to take care of a pet? I don't know what kind of a pet he's thinking, but it reminded me of a very funny book that I wanted to share with you today. And it is titled Gilbert, Goldfish Wants a Pet. What letter does Gilbert and Goldfish start with? The letter G. That's correct. Gilbert Goldfish wants a pet. Have you ever heard of a goldfish having his own pet? This is pretty silly. The author of this book is Kelly DiPucchio, and the illustrator is Bob Shea. So let's just see. Maybe I can decide after I read this book if I think it would be a good idea for Dave to get a pet. So let's take a look. To any outsider, Gilbert had everything a goldfish could ever want. A beautiful bowl. A magnificent stone castle, a treasure chest full of gold, and a feast of tasty flakes that fell from the sky just in time for breakfast each day. But the one thing Gilbert did not have was the very thing that he most desperately wanted: a pet. Sometimes he imagined his pet would be small. Sometimes big. You see the small pet? That's a ladybug. And the big pet, that's a donkey. And sometimes really big. That's an elephant and a goldfish. That's a funny pair. Sometimes Gilbert imagined his pet would have fur, or feathers, or floppy ears. But every day and always, Gilbert imagined what it would be like to have a pet to care for and love. Then one day, Gilbert woke up to find a dog barking at him. Gilbert blinked his eyes to make sure he wasn't dreaming. The dog wagged his tail and licked the bowl. Bark, bark, bark. Gilbert swam around and around in happy circles, and the dog ran around in happy circles too. A pet, Gilbert glubbed. I have a pet. The dog barked and barked and barked some more. Bark, bark, bark. Gilbert never dreamed his pet would be so noisy or so thirsty. Where's that dog drinking from? Gilbert's bowl. A week passed. A very tired Gilbert woke up and the barky bark dog was gone. The castle was quiet again. Gilbert was just a teensy bit relieved. It looks like maybe Gilbert's family was dog sitting, watching somebody else's dog just for a little while. A few days later, Gilbert noticed a small gray, what's this? Mouse peering at him through the glass. Gilbert's little fishy heart went pitter, patter, swish. The mouse licked her paws and sniffed the bowl. Gilbert swam around and around in happy circles. The mouse, who thought Gilbert was a large chunk of cheddar cheese, ran over and around in circles too. Squeak, squeak, squeak. A pet, Gilbert glubbed happily. I have a quiet pet. The mouse sniffed and sniffed and sniffed some more. Sniff, sniff, sniff. When the hungry mouse determined that Gilbert was not, in fact, a block of cheese, she ran away. And she never came back. Gilbert's little fishy heart went pitter, patter, plop. Poor Gilbert. More time passed, and Gilbert had just about given up on his dream when a fly landed on the rim of his bowl. Well, hello there, little fellow, Gilbert called out cheerfully. The startled fly buzzed around and around in circles. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Gilbert jumped up, and the wide-eyed fly was there to greet him in mid-air. A pet, Gilbert glubbed. I have a quiet, friendly thwack. Okay, that's a fly swatter. Oh, my poor fly, and poor Gilbert. He cried enough tears to fill a 10-gallon aquarium. In the morning, Gilbert opened his eyes. Somebody was watching him. Gilbert gulped. Somebody flicked its long tail and wiry whiskers. What do you think that might be? Does anybody have a prediction what you think this pet might be? Gilbert cautiously swam around and around in circles. Somebody followed. Gilbert jumped. Somebody jumped too. Gilbert thought, eyeing the curious new creature before him. Not too loud, not too rude, and not too squished. A pet, Gilbert glubbed. I have the perfect pet. You look kind of hungry, Gilbert said. Would you like to join me for some breakfast? The creature moved in closer and closer and closer, and then it took a big bite. What do you think this is? Of a delicious green flake. The pink ones are really good too, Gilbert said with a smile. Would you like me to show you around the castle? Now, I thought that this was going to be a cat, because if you look at the illustration over here, doesn't that look like a cat? Maybe you thought it was going to be a cat too, but instead it's a catfish. Now Gilbert really does have everything a goldfish could ever want, including Fluffy. He named the catfish Fluffy. Isn't that silly? Our fish Fluffy? No, that's a pretty silly name for Gilbert's pet. Well, I hope you enjoyed this book, and I'm still going to think about Dave getting a pet. I'm just not quite sure he's ready for that yet. That's a big job to have a pet of your own, but it sounds like Gilbert has a nice friend with Fluffy, and they're going to be very happy together. All right, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.